Hello there, my name is Ismail. So a lot of you have been requesting me to do a comparison between the Blender asset browser, the inbuilt asset browser that the Blender organization is currently working on, versus my asset browser, my asset library add-on that is available on for download on the Blender market. So I tried to do that, but the problem is I tried to find a Blender version that contains the asset browser that Blender is working on, and I couldn't find one. So I watched Curtis Holt's video, which is an amazing video explaining how the asset browser works. And in his video, he says you can get the asset browser in Blender 3.0, and I downloaded that, and this is it here. And unfortunately, for some reason, it has been removed again. So I think the asset browser was introduced in Blender 9.3, but was removed for some reason and reintroduced again in 3. And let me see if I can get that part where he talks about it.
You'll be able to see that under data, there's the asset browser. Download now, and it was available there. So if you take a look under the kind of editor panel, and then I finally had a look at the 3.0 alpha, which is available to download now, and it was available there. So if you take a look under the kind of editor panels, you'll be able to see that under data, there's the asset browser. But to add to my confusion, when I was testing this in 3.0, it wouldn't let me drag things in.
Yeah, so that's what he said. For him, when he tried 3.0, the asset browser was there. When I opened up Blender, you can see when I downloaded 3.0, it was removed for some reason again. So I can still make the comparison, as you can just watch his video. He does a good review of the add-on of the asset browser and its functionality and how it works. And so I'll just do just show you how my version or my asset library add-on works, and you can do a comparison yourself, as I could not find the asset browser myself in any versions I tried to download. So anyway, let's just, if you install the asset browser, you just have to activate it here, and you should access it in the library panel here. And if you have any asset in your library, you just click add, and then you should add the assets. You can see that any things that are onto that asset. For example, you have this asset has a particle system, it has materials. All those will be imported in directly into your project. Let me show you how to add a project. Let me open up one of my recent projects and see if I could show you. Yeah, so I was working on this kit bash, this corridor here, and I was using my the asset library, and let me just change to that library here, kit bash, so you can see some of the assets that I was using here, and it makes it very simple to use. So if I wanted to add in some panels here, just let me add that. So yeah, so for me, the implementation of the Blender asset browser that they're working on is a bit confusing, and you can watch this video to see the steps you have to take to make the asset library, the asset browser work. And I think it's still a bit confusing. Maybe that's why they're removing it and adding it back, because there's still a lot of things to work out for that library. That's why I think, and even when the asset browser is completely done, I think the asset library will still be very useful, because it works quite differently, and I think gives you access to your assets in a much faster way, as you can just find the thumbnail as it looks, and you can just add it into your scene directly. Very, very easily like that. It has a very minimum interface. Yeah, so that is adding objects. Let me show you how to add materials. So I designed this library to have this add-on to have to support multiple libraries, so you can organize your assets quite easily. For example, I have a kit bash library here, and you can see I have a ton of libraries, and I have different categories like this. And so if I wanted to add, say, let me see, I have a furniture pack, and you can see you can easily switch between the different libraries very easily. You can see, let's say I wanted to add, let me get some decos here. Let's add this Xbox controller somewhere around. Let's add it next to that and see how it fits. You can see in just a few steps you can easily add whatever you want to add quite easily, and switch between the different libraries. Like so. And I have say a city park or a city library with buildings, so it makes the organization easier. And creating a new library is also quite easy. For example, if you wanted to create a library containing assets that you might use for a corridor, sci-fi corridor like this, all you would have to do is go under the add asset section, and if you scroll down, you see a library settings, and then if you go into that list, you will see a create library directory, and then you can just navigate to where you want to save the library. So I have a library folder where I have all my libraries. So you just create a folder and name it whatever you want. I'll call it corridor, and then enter that, and then hit accept, and then create library, and your library is created and set for you to use. Right now we have no assets because we haven't added any, so I can go to the add asset and then select any object that I want to add, and create a new category, or just use the uncategorized. So let me just call this X, and I can render the asset. Just pick an angle that you think. You need to make sure that the asset is selected, something like that. Let's say we go with that, and add to library, and you can see that now it has been added to the library. And then let's say we can also add this PlayStation library, this PlayStation asset, Xbox controller. You just have to re-render is. And the great thing about this is that it renders with the materials that asset has. So if I wanted to add this, simple. And you can also add collections, materials. So for example, if I wanted to reuse this material, I just have to go to the add materials, hit a render preview, and then add that. So you can continue adding in more assets to your library. Just get a better angle of this, add. Now if I save this project file and open up a new one, hit N, get the asset library, I can access the corridor asset library, and you can see if I go to X collection, you can see I have those in there, and I have that added. Can add the PlayStation, this thing here. So, and they all come with the material. So that's how easy it is to use the asset library. Yeah, so if you want to get the asset library, I'll be leaving a link in the description. Right now, the asset browser that the Blender organization is working on isn't available yet, at least as of recording all this video, and I still think the implementation is still a bit confusing, and yeah, and you are not really sure when it's being added or when it's going to be removed. So it was added a few weeks ago, at least when this video was recorded, and now it has been removed. So you're not really sure when it will be on. Yeah, so thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.